Hey there, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Hello.
Today we're diving into something, well, really practical. It can make a big difference when you're traveling, using English to get around by taxi.
Yeah, absolutely essential sometimes.
Picture this. You arrive in a new city, maybe you're a little tired from your journey, and you just want to get to your hotel, without any fuss.
Right.
Knowing just a few key English phrases for taxis can make that whole experience so much smoother. Really gives you a confidence boost, too.
Exactly. And we've looked at some really helpful resources for this. There are guides like Essential Phrases for Taxi Drivers, and another one, Navigating Taxi Travel in English.
Okay.
And these give us a fantastic look at the kind of language that's useful, both for understanding drivers and, maybe more importantly, making sure they understand you.
Right.
So our goal today, our mission, if you like, is to equip you, the listener, with exactly that, the essential English for using taxis confidently.
Making travels easier, strengthening those English skills in a really tangible way.
You got it. So let's jump right in, shall we?
Yeah.
The first thing, of course, is actually getting a taxi in the first place.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this. Now, our sources highlight a few common ways you might, find yourself needing a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most straightforward is probably hailing one on the street. So to hail a taxi, that means to signal for one to stop. Usually, by raising your hand when you see an available cab coming.
Simple enough.
And even before you get in, a really useful phrase is, could you take me to? And then the place.
Ah, good one.
Like, could you take me to the Grand Hotel? This quick question can save you time, right, by confirming if the driver's even going in your general direction.
That's a great tip, yeah. Another very common method is booking a taxi by phone.
Okay.
So if you call a taxi company, you might start with a polite request like, may I book a taxi for, and then the time.
For example.
May I book a taxi for 7 p.m.? Or if you need one, like right now, as soon as possible.
Oh.
Yeah, you could ask, when is the soonest I could book a taxi for?
Makes sense.
Then when they answer, they'll probably need your location and your destination.
Right, where you are and where you're going.
Exactly. You can say clearly, I'm at, and give your current address.
I'm at 123 Main Street.
Perfect. And then I'd like to go to, stating where you want to go.
I'd like to go to the museum.
And what's really important here, and our sources really emphasize this, always ask, how much will that cost when you book?
Oh, definitely. Confirm the fare beforehand.
Yeah, it can help avoid any unexpected costs later on. Very useful.
Absolutely. That's a smart move.
Yeah.
Now, let's think about if you're at a hotel.
Okay.
You could ask the hotel receptionist for help.
Yeah.
You might say something like, could you organize a taxi for me for this evening, please?
Mm-hmm.
I need to be picked up at, say, 7 p.m. to go to the restaurant. See how that combines everything.
Yeah. Booking, time, destination, all in one.
Or if your hotel has the doorman, the person who helps with the door and often with taxis, you can just say, excuse me, could you hail a taxi for me, please?
And they'll usually handle it.
Yeah, they'll signal one for you.
Now, it's helpful here to pay a little attention to pronunciation.
Good point.
When you're asking a question in English, your voice often goes up slightly at the end.
That rising intonation.
Exactly. So if you ask, could you take me to the station, listen to how your voice kind of rises on station.
Station, yeah, I hear it.
That little change in tone really helps the other person know you're asking a question.
Okay, good tip.
Let's try a quick role play then. Imagine you're at your hotel, need a taxi to the train station, maybe for 6 p.m.
Okay, I'll start. I'll go to the desk. Speaking clearly. Could you organize a taxi for me for this evening, please? I need to be picked up at 6 p.m. to go to the train station.
As receptionist, clearly and politely. Certainly, sir, madame. I will arrange that for you right away.
Simple. And effective. Okay, so, great. You've successfully gotten a taxi. Now you're sitting inside. What kind of things might the driver say?
Well, often the driver will start with just a friendly greeting.
Right.
You might hear hi or hello, depending on the time of day, maybe good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Standard stuff.
Sometimes, just to be polite, they might ask, how are you today? And if it's maybe a bigger taxi, a van,
Right.
they might mention, hi, I can take 4 passengers, just so you know the capacity.
Okay. And then comes the crucial bit, making sure the driver knows exactly where you want to go.
Yes. They might ask, where can I take you? Or,
Where are you going?
Or maybe slightly more formally, what's your destination?
And your response is usually pretty direct, right?
Yeah, just to place.
To the National Art Gallery, please.
Perfect. Now, what's interesting is what happens if the driver isn't familiar with the place you've mentioned?
Yeah, that can happen.
They might say something like, I don't know that place. Do you have a map? Or maybe, can you show me on this map? Perhaps pointing to their phone or GPS.
Which is why it's always a good idea to have the address written down or, ready on your phone, just in case.
Definitely. Saves a lot of hassle.
Our sources also cover talking about time and, whether you're in a rush.
Right. A driver might ask, are you in a hurry?
And you can respond with, yes, I'm a bit late, if you need to get there quickly.
Or,
no, take your time, if you're more relaxed about it.
And the driver might give you an idea of how long the journey will take.
Okay.
You might hear things like, oh, it's very close, meaning it won't take long.
Or the opposite.
It's pretty far away, indicating, well, a longer journey. They might give a specific estimate, too.
Like?
It will take about 15 minutes, or maybe it takes about 1 hour to get there, something like that.
And if they don't volunteer that info?
You can always ask, how long will it take? Simple and direct.
Good. Now here's something common you might run into. Route options and maybe extra costs.
Yes. The driver might say, it's faster to take the expressway, but you have to pay the toll.
Okay, let's break those down. Expressway.
Right. You might also hear motorway or highway. Basically, a fast road, multiple lanes for quicker travel.
Got it. And toll.
A toll or tollway fee is just a charge, like a small payment you have to make to use that specific road.
Okay, so you pay for the speed or convenience.
Exactly. And you might hear shorter versions, too. Like, the driver might lean back and say, you in a hurry, take the expressway.
More informal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, there is a tollway fee. You pay the fee. Okay. Notice the intonation there. It's often asking if you agree.
Right. Seeking your okay for the extra cost.
So your response depends, do you want to save time? Are you okay with the extra fee?
So you could say,
yes, please take the expressway. Or, no, thank you, I'm not in a hurry, so the regular road is fine.
Good options.
Yeah.
It's also really helpful to know some basic phrases just for making sure you understand the driver.
And that they understand you. Crucial.
Yeah. If the driver's speaking too quickly, you can politely say,
speak slowly, please. Always polite.
And if you just don't get something.
Sorry, I don't understand. It's perfectly okay to say that.
And if you do understand.
You can say, yes, I understand. Or sometimes just a nod shows you followed. Hearing no problem from the driver is also quite reassuring.
Definitely. Now, our sources also give some examples of special requests or instructions you might need or hear.
Right, like luggage. If you have bags, the driver might say, I'll put your luggage in the boot trunk.
The boot trunk distinction.
Yeah, just a quick note. Boot is common in British English for the back storage space.
And trunk is more American English.
Mm-hmm.
But they mean the same thing.
Exactly. And for safety, the driver will likely say, put on your seatbelt, please.
Always good advice. What about comfort?
Well, a driver might ask, is it okay if I open a window? Or maybe, is the air conditioning okay? Checking if you're comfortable.
And they might have some rules for their car, too.
Yes, polite rules, usually. Things like, please don't eat in the car, or no smoking, please. Pretty standard.
And as a passenger, maybe you need to ask something.
Sure. You might need the driver to wait briefly. Perhaps if you're just running into a shop, you could say, please wait for me.
Okay.
Or if you feel the driver is going a bit too fast for your comfort,
you can ask,
could you slow down, please? Again, politeness helps.
It's also quite common for drivers to mention traffic conditions, isn't it?
Oh, very common. They might say, it's rush hour.
Which just means lots of traffic, usually mornings and evenings.
Right, commute times. Or you might hear, there's a traffic jam, meaning traffic is stopped or moving really slowly.
They might also give advice based on the traffic.
Yeah, like, the traffic is bad over there. You'll get there faster if you walk from here. They can be useful.
Or explain a delay.
I think there's been an accident. Or to reassure you, they might say, I'll try a different way to avoid the jam.
And if you're worried about the route or the time it's taking,
you can always check in. Is this the quickest way?
Good to know. Let's do another short dialogue.
Yeah.
Imagine you want to go to a museum, but you're not really in a hurry. And you'd be interested in seeing a famous landmark if it's not too far out of the way.
Got it. You be the passenger.
Okay. To the City Museum, please. I'm not in a big rush today, so I was wondering, if it's not too much trouble, could we perhaps drive past the Old Town Hall on the way?
As the driver. Ah, the old town hall. Yes, that's certainly possible. It's just a slight detour, maybe adds about, 5 or 10 minutes to the journey. Would that be all right with you?
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you very much.
Great. City Museum via the Old Town Hall it is then.
Wonderful. So, okay, you've enjoyed the detour. You've arrived at your destination. What happens next? Arrival and payment.
Right. The driver will usually let you know you've arrived. Often it's simple, like, here we are, or they might just say the name of the place.
City Museum.
Exactly. Then you'll need to ask about the payment.
How do you phrase that?
You can ask, how much is the fare, please? Or maybe, how much do I owe you?
Okay.
The driver will then tell you the total cost. For instance, the total fare is $15.
Now, paying and maybe tipping. What phrases come up here?
Well, you might need to check if they accept cards, right?
Yeah, do you take credit cards?
Or if you only have a large banknote, you might ask, do you have change?
Good one. And the driver?
The driver might ask you, do you have smaller notes bills? If they're short on change. Or they might just say, sorry, I don't have any change.
Okay. And if you want to give a tip?
If the fare is, say, $18 and you give $20, you can just say, keep the change.
Easy.
Or you can hand them some extra money separately and say, here's a tip.
And the driver will probably say,
Thank you, or thank you for the tip.
finally, it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah. The driver might offer some parting words, sometimes practical advice like, watch out for motorcycles before getting out, especially in busy cities.
Good safety tip.
Or they might say, don't forget your belongings, or just a polite thank you for your business.
Maybe, hope to see you again.
Or, it's been nice chatting with you if you've had a little conversation, or even enjoy your stay in, London or Thailand, wherever you are.
And a polite response from the passenger.
Simply, thanks for the ride, or thanks for the lift, works well.
Okay, let's try a quick example for this part. Arrival, paying, goodbye. Driver starts.
Okay, here we are, the City Museum.
Oh, brilliant, thank you. How much is the fare, please?
The fare is $18.
Okay, here's $20. Keep the change.
Oh, thank you very much. Enjoy your visit to the museum.
I will, thanks. Have a good day.
You too. Bye now.
Nice. Now, occasionally, a driver might not be able to take you where you want to go.
Right, that can happen. Our sources list some common reasons and the phrases they might use.
Such as?
A driver might say, sorry, that is out of my boundaries. Boundaries here just means the area they're allowed to work in.
Like a geographical limit.
Exactly. Or they might explain, I can't go there. I would have to come back without a fare. Remember, fare is the money the passenger pays.
Right, so if they drive way out somewhere and can't get a passenger for the trip back, it's not really economical for them.
Makes sense. Other reasons could be simpler. Sorry, I don't go to the airport. Maybe they don't have the permit.
Or,
I'm all done for the day, meaning their shift is over. Or perhaps I have to return the car on time if it's a rental, or my car needs servicing.
so maintenance issues.
Yeah. In these situations, they'll likely apologize. I'm sorry, have a nice day. Or sometimes they might offer to help. I can call another driver or company for you.
That's helpful.
Our sources also briefly touch on small talk.
Ah, yes, the optional chat.
Totally optional, but it can be a fantastic way to practice your English in a, pretty low pressure setting.
What kind of things might they ask?
Oh, general questions. Have you been here before? Are you from around here? How do you like the city?
Are you here on business or for pleasure?
Yeah, or are you staying long? Sometimes just comments on the weather. Good weather, huh? Not too hot, not too cold. Or maybe, I hope the weather gets better for you if it's been raining.
And engaging in this, even just a little bit, can really help with listening and speaking confidence, can't it?
Absolutely. Don't feel obligated. But if you feel comfortable, it can be a nice way to connect and practice.
Definitely. Okay, finally, let's talk about some practice tips for you, our listeners, to really get these phrases down.
Right. The best way to learn and remember this stuff is probably to listen to the examples we gave, maybe a few times. Pay attention not just to the words, but also the pronunciation, the rhythm, the intonation, how the voice goes up or down.
Absolutely. And practice saying the phrases out loud yourself. It might feel a bit odd at first,
It always does.
but the more you practice speaking, the more natural it'll feel and sound. You could even maybe record yourself on your phone.
Good idea. Listen back, see how it sounds.
And try to imagine yourself in different taxi situations.
Say,
Like, what would you say if the driver asked if you were in a hurry?
or how would you ask for the fare if you only had a big note?
Mentally rehearsing, yeah. It can really help you feel more prepared when the real situation comes up.
And look, if you get the chance, try using these phrases in real life. Don't worry about making mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes when learning.
Exactly. It's totally normal. Most taxi drivers deal with people learning English all the time. They're usually pretty patient.
Focus on getting the main message across. Even if you don't catch every single word the driver says, try to grasp the main idea.
And pay attention to those common phrases and how they're used in context. That helps build understanding over time.
All right, well, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive. You should now have a really useful set of essential English phrases.
To help you feel more confident, more in control when you're taking taxis.
Being able to communicate effectively in these everyday situations, it doesn't just make your travels smoother and more enjoyable.
It also really helps improve your overall English skills. It's practical application.
So here's a final thought for you to mull over. Think about other everyday situations you might encounter. Where else could these kinds of communication strategies be helpful?
Good question. What other English phrases do you think would be useful for you to learn next to make daily life or future travels even easier?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks, everyone. See you next time.